sports fan.
All right, so.
It's like,
Hey, welcome to the continuing blogger series here at Wine of the Month Club. We've started talking to some of the prominent bloggers in Los Angeles and around the country, and we are excited today to have Jose Martinez in, and he is from LA Dine and Club.
That's correct.
.com.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
The pretty. I looked at your site. A lot of activity going on there.
It's a lot going on. Keep you busy.
I get to taste wines on Tuesday, but you get to go out.
4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
I try to do one night a week, and it doesn't end up being that way.
No, right. Well, you got to work, right?
Yeah.
That's work. But but then you told me the other one of the things you went down to. You went and did a half a marathon somewhere.
I do quite a few a year, but every May I go in Solvang. So the rest of the day we just go wine tasting.
Yeah. So you run a half a marathon and go wine tasting. I wonder what the personal trainers would say about that kind of activity.
You add even more calories than you burn
Exactly.
by the end of the day.
So tell me about LA Wine and DineandClub.com. It's a site's been around how long?
LA Dine and Club, we're just approaching 3 years.
That's pretty
cover
good.
everything LA based, LA centric. We do a lot of previews of things that people can go to. Lots of restaurants, bar reviews, points of interest, things that are opening that might be fun for people to check out.
We were talking about pairing wines and foods, and maybe we'll talk about that when we taste these 4 wines as well. But we also were talking about, and I think this is really interesting, pairing cocktails with foods. You don't hear much about that, but you were talking about some.
That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I'm a big spirits fan, and sometimes they go even better than the wines. I went to I was telling you about 1886 Bar in Pasadena.
Is it the Raymond restaurant?
Great wine at the restaurant, great cocktails at the bar, and they had a cocktail that paired with pork belly.
That's
better than I thought wine could.
That's amazing. Pork bellies and a cocktail, but the ingredient of that cocktail that kind of was interesting. It was gin.
It was applejack, gin, simple carrot syrup, and the pork belly had peaches with it, and they just meshed
carrot
perfectly.
syrup. I mean, everybody asks me what's your favorite wine. I tell them gin or rye. I love rye too, but you just don't hear about pairing cocktails and food much. But I see that as really a functional thing to do. I mean, you can really have a nice appetizer with a really nice cocktail.
I was at a French restaurant, so great wines. But we got the duck à l'orange, and I paired it with a cocktail.
Wow.
Vodka, and it went better than the wine did.
And however, I'm also that classic cocktail. I mean, I want a 2-to-1 Manhattan. I want a 5-to-1 gin martini.
Yes.
I want some of the classics, and now there's a lot of books on vintage cocktails and some of the classic places.
They're the rage.
Yeah.
You get your Sazeracs, the old fashions.
Right.
Manhattans are everywhere.
They're great. It's great. Let's start with some. This is one of my favorites from the French side of things. I'm going to taste 4 wines. This is a Vouvray, which of course is Chenin Blanc. So it's going to be a little bit on the brighter side, a little sweet side, not sweet, but just off dry.
Yeah.
But this is Vouvray, which is of course the classic district of Chenin Blanc in France. And so that's why I chose it, because at the club we try to keep people interested in different things. And so you get a wonderful, nose is kind of tight, but a little lime.
That is nice, because I'm a fan of sweet. With my white, I don't care for too dry.
Oh, really? So you don't like those chewy Chardonnay things?
I mean, I had, of all things, an incredible plate of garlic shrimp. And I had it paired with a Riesling. And you would think, kind of odd, but it paired so perfectly, the spiciness with the sweetness. And,
well, that's interesting, right? We try to pair foods, and you can't always get it the first time, because sometimes you actually have contrasting characters, like sweet and spice, which I think people accept that now. But sometimes you have to match the weight. Sometimes you have to match the viscosity of the wines. In this case, you've got a demi-sec, which means slightly dry, off dry.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at like maybe, I don't know, maybe like a Chinese chicken salad with this, with a mandarin or something, or I don't know, it's just now it's starting to open up. The nose is changing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that would go well with. I think even I could start off with a Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar, that'd be good. Yeah, like it. I forgot how good this wine is.
Yeah,
happens sometimes around here.
That is really nice.
Well, Vouvray is a really fun district from France. It doesn't get a lot of attention here in America.
What does that go for?
$12.99.
Deal.
And we don't. You know, the thing about Chenin Blanc, it's one of the noble grapes of France in the sense that it makes great wines and people respect it. But we don't pay attention to it here. You will get them in. You get a red glass there. You will get a lot of them out of South Africa.
Uh-huh.
But they tend to have, South African wines tend to have this creosote character about it, and it smells like tar, which I'm not sure is a good thing for white wine.
No, no.
So
I think it's a bold experiment if you're drinking red, but not white.
So this is Columbia Valley, which is on the same latitude as Bordeaux, France. Okay. So they try to say that Cabernets, Merlots, Sauvignon Blancs, do well there. Yeah. And I don't know, right? I mean, come on. There's so many other things that go on when it comes to winemaking, but this one does have Bordeaux-like flavors to it. Okay. Did you notice in the nose there's a little bit of licorice, there's a little bit of earth tones?
Yes.
So what I'm thinking with this.
That first reaction, like, not quite. It's a little, for me, like, a little dry.
Yeah, it's gonna be dry.
Bitter, but then again,
didn't jump out of the glass at you, huh?
No, but you pair it with something.
Well, yeah,
and then it can change everything completely. Do I want to sit here and have a glass of this? Maybe not.
This is the kind of wine that will change. But now, even the second time through, you're getting some more earthy characters sometimes. So you're not going to get as much berry flavors. You're going to get more earthy soil tones.
Yeah. I mean, maybe 20, 30 minutes from now it'll change.
Yeah, it'll always
more
definitely change. Well, it's an 08. And it's in a screw cap.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of screw caps over there at the LA Dining Club?
I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. I don't, I would probably finish the bottle before, I'd want to screw it back and come to it again another day.
Well, they do have, for me, they have a tremendous value because I don't have to uncork so many wines when I'm tasting.
Yeah.
But as longevity is concerned, no one's been able to disprove their function.
But and people will tell, depending who they are, the different opinions. But I found box wine.
Oh yeah, there's some great box wines here.
Yeah,
black box.
Pretty good. It keeps.
It's not bad.
Doesn't go bad on you.
In fact, this has probably been here like 3 or 4 months, and I'm wondering if. But it works like a baby's bottle, right?
Yeah, and there's a restaurant, Truxton's, and they do wines on tap.
Yeah. Okay. So that's backfilled with nitrogen or argon or something.
One of my favorite little wine bars is 320 Lounge on La Brea in Los Angeles, and they just have vats, and you can go and take little samples and try. But they stay good. They don't go bad. And
320
Wine Lounge.
And it's on
La Brea.
La Brea.
La Brea on 3rd.
Near on 3rd. Okay. So have you been to? I just went to 7th Grand. 7th.
7th and Grand.
Isn't that great?
It's cool.
But no food, right?
No, good for whiskeys.
It's kind of hard, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have.
So what's happening downtown? I mean, there's a ton of changes going on down there.
It got really big. Varnish and Association, lots of great cocktail bars out there.
Edison.
Edison.
There's a couple other classic cocktail bars.
But the other day I went to Drago Centro, which is a great restaurant, great wines. They have a great bar, great cocktails.
Mm. And this is great. You brought this note.
This one just got introduced to me. I was at Rascal the other night for dinner on La Brea, and the owner, Sandy Clark, came and brought it.
Really?
I've never heard of it.
I don't know it either, but it's got Syrah and Zinfandel in it, which you clearly get.
Yeah.
And then it's got, and the least would be Barbera as far as its volume is concerned, and you get that Barbera cherryness at the end. It's really kind of cool.
And it could be, I'm a big Barbera Barolo fan.
Oh yeah, that's why.
And
it's in the nose too, for sure.
And he brought it to me, and I was just like, oh my God, I think I got a new favorite wine right now. It really did the trick for me. And I think we had pork belly. We had quite a few different selections.
I can see that. I can see this with cranberry sauce on turkey, even with sometimes people don't want to put red wines with white meat, but you know, a good Pinot Noir that's got a lot of fruit base goes with that cranberry sauce. This would, I think, do really well with that.
Yeah. I don't want to spit this one up.
No, I'm sorry. You know, but I have to. That's my job, you know.
I know.
We'll leave that up there. But we're going to go into a real direction here. Now, this is Baraka. It's a 2005 Malbec. You mentioned you're just coming off the Malbec thing.
I'm a huge Malbec guy. I've been obsessed with Malbec now for months. I started off with the Australian Malbecs. That's what got me into it.
Wow.
And then,
okay, that's pretty obscure.
I love Australian Malbecs. And then, of course, you get into Argentinian Malbecs. And every night when I would go out, I'd get Malbecs, and half the time I didn't like them. And I was like, no thanks. And then half the time I'd find them.
They're a strange animal. They shouldn't be. They're one of the noble grapes of Bordeaux, France. Somehow Argentina has grabbed onto it and made it sort of the darling of its red wine groups. Yeah. And they can be full-bodied and smoky like this one, and they can be light and acidic and hardly drinkable as other ones are. This one changes, though, this 05.
Yeah.
And it's blended with Merlot. So this is full Malbec on the nose, a little Merlot to soften the finish.
My first reaction was not quite, like I believe drinking shouldn't be work.
Yeah, right. Well, you're right. It does need food, though, I think.
Yeah, I think, you know, I've given it another chance with something to eat.
Have you been to Malbec, the steakhouse?
I have not.
There's one on, I think they just opened another one. There's one on Green Street in Pasadena, because you're in L.A., mostly in L.A. But I think he just opened another one. All he has is Malbecs on the list.
Oh,
and then he's got all Argentinian chimichurris and all those kinds of things.
Yeah. 320 Wine Lounge, they had a great Malbec, and it was Australian. Go figure. I was telling someone, I was like, the Australians doing really well.
I can see that like in the Barossa Valley, you know, a certain part of Australia where it's hotter.
Yeah.
But that's just, I mean, all the wines we taste here, which is around 300 a month, I don't think I've had 2 Australian Malbecs.
Really?
So that's pretty rare.
All right.
So what's the next big venture for LA Dine Club that you're doing?
Well, we just posted a Sonoma wine country travel story.
Oh yeah, your first trip to Sonoma.
That was my first trip to Sonoma.
You got the bug, folks.
Oh yeah. We go to Alexander Valley, Dry Creek Valley, Russian River Valley. Amazing 3 days of tasting. And we're going to be posting a Carmel travel story and Catalina travel story.
Wow, how about wine on Catalina?
They've got the room for it, and if the buffalo don't mind...
yeah, the buffalo, right. I want the buffalo eat grapes.
Yeah, they don't start stomping over the grapes. It would probably be an interesting terrain.
It would be. Well, Sicily, I love Sicilian wines, and particularly a lot of indigenous grapes, but there's an offshore wind, and like for some reason, their whites do really well with shellfish. Yeah. And not for some reason. There's obvious reason. Right?
Yeah.
It's so indigenous.
I mean, there's plenty of fish out there that are local, and actually, the indigenous one is you can't eat. They will fine you and
that's right.
You if you catch it.
You're right. Yeah,
but
that's right.
There's plenty of fish, fresh fish out there to have. So, but I had they have a nice little divey bar where I got incredible tiki drinks. But they have really nice restaurants where I had some good wine.
When was that?
That was about a month ago.
Recently, because I don't think I've been to Catalina since 1979. Oh, wow. It must have changed.
You know, it probably hasn't. Probably new restaurants, but otherwise it's the same landscape. I found a bar that had plantation rum, which is my favorite thing right now.
Oh, that's great.
So I sat there with that, and then I just went back to the other side of the island, did some hiking, and had some good food. It's great.
Well, it sounds like A, you have a good time.
Yes.
B, you keep yourself in shape by hiking and running and trying to work through all the food and drink that we have. It's hard to keep up,
It's like a losing battle.
And we're not getting any younger as it is, right?
But imagine if I didn't do it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's what I tell myself.
That's exactly, you're right. That's a great attitude.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure having you here, Jose.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing more things at LA Dine and Club and LA Arts Online.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.